Okay guys, so this is the next video in this breakdown about what Google really cares about. So no matter how Google moves algorithmic goalposts and things become tricky to figure out, like should we make longer or shorter pages or what, ultimately the goalposts that don't seem to ever move and probably never will for the common sense reason is Google cares what? When somebody clicks a keyword and lands on your page or somebody else's page, how long do they spend on the page and what do they click on the page? So ultimately, how long do they spend on your site, right? Google really cares about that. And Google can tell real activity of people from false activity of bots or automated scrolling systems that try to act personal but aren't. If Google can read the difference between GPT content and human content, or at least with a high degree of probability or a reasonable degree of probability, Google can tell whether somebody's moving a mouse really or if they're not. Right? Or if it's a program trained to act like that. Okay. So having said that, our websites do several things to make your life easy that way. First, when you get a bunch of clicks on a page, right, we track the difference between bots and people who are either click frauding or disinterested in their bouncing, and the people we care about, the ones who are showing some level of true interest on the page. So we track that. And for the humans who are interested, we track their stats. How far down the page do they go? And if they go down a ways and click on something, what do they click on, right? We track what they click on. We track how far down they go. We track if they go to another page, all that kind of stuff. Okay. We even decide if they stop at a certain point and leave the website altogether so that we can compare and see if a bunch of people are doing the same thing, if they're all leaving at the same place on pages, right? Then we know we have a problem on a page that can be dealt with, right? Something on the page is offending them. It's driving them nuts. The example I like to give is, what if they come halfway down and it says, our clients are these? You know, you're saying our clients, so you got the biggest names in the industry. You're doing it because you're trying to prove trust, but what are they saying? That you work with $100 million companies? Ooh, well, if you work with them, you're not going to be interested in little old me, and so they're going to go. So if you see a bunch of people hitting the same section and leaving the website, that's not good. You know, you manually would want to go and see why. Or just simply let our website notice that and react on its own to improve the situation, which I'll cover after a little bit. But our pages actually can be given goals and they can understand to follow them and go through a series of logical steps to improve how people spend more time on the page and or click more things on the page. So I'll get back to that chat after a little bit. But I have to start showing you what's possible. So if you have a website, it's got a lot of sections. For instance, we land here. What do we have? We have some top bar. Okay. We have a menu. So if we were doing a landing page for PPC, we would want to flip some of the stuff off that seems to be in our way, right? Which of course we can do, right? So I can go to the section of the website where that stuff is. Do I want a Google translator so anyone can read in any language? Who knows? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Do I want a top bar? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Do I want a menu navigation? No. Okay, so if I were to make those changes, just to really quickly make that point, right? Here's what I did. I erased everything from the top except for, you know, choose what language you're looking for. And that could be any other language, right? And so then people can actually read the page in their own language, the entire page, right? And this is absolutely awesome, okay? So whatever, I just threw it there to make the point. That could be turned off anyway in the back end. It doesn't have to show up, okay? But I'm just saying that's an option. Now, having said that, the sidebar widget's a different thing. Every section on this page, it's a section. So what's a section? That was a section. Top bar is a section, navigation's a section, this big banner block is a section. A section runs from one side of the page to the other. This is the content section of the page and it ends right here. Okay. If we have a sidebar turned on, it's going to be part of this content section. Okay. Because it goes next to the content, right? Then you have another section. and another section, and another section. Do you see that? These are stacked, one section on top of the next, right? That's how web pages work. They have sections. So what do? And obviously nobody did on this site. This is a testing area for us. This is where we improve our programming and stuff and check functions and stuff, okay? It's one of those websites. We have a lot of them. So what's happening here? You make each section be as cohesive as possible, as well explained as possible. You decide if you want to turn any sections off, right? Maybe you don't want a certain section or a certain maybe you don't want the translator. Maybe you do or don't want the top bar. Okay, I'll just flip it back on anyway. Sometimes, people often want these, and the header, they often want that. But if you're doing landing pages for pay-per-click or for Facebook campaigns, Meta, something like that, you're going to tighten that up. You might turn the menu off, right? You're trying to focus their attention on one specific thing. But look at that. There's that About Us section that says something like this. If I come back and do a Control F, Control V, I found it. This is the About Us section. That's this one. So if I wanted to, I could flip it off, okay? And just update this, and that section will disappear. Now, when it disappears, where the page ends and where the next section begins must collapse, right? We don't want a big empty spot in the middle of the page, so let's verify that. Boom, okay? There it is. Great, that happened, okay? So, starting from the top, we have whatever we have, and we scroll down, and we get whatever we get, and boom, 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 and there we are, right? Now, I'm going to flip it back on for now. But every section independently can be flipped on or off, right? And it'll cover the entire section, right? Now, that's one thing that you can do with sections. So you either care to fill them in, or you feel like they're excess in your case, or like you got too many sections, or you're getting too far away from the point and you want to close it up. Then yeah, you can do that, right? You can decide what sections you need and what sections you don't. Some of the sections don't fit very well for every business model. They just don't, okay? So you make those decisions. But what do you think another thing is that you can do with sections, or should be able to do with sections? How about rearrange the order of the sections on the web page? Do you think that matters? Do you think it's possible that if you go in one order of sections, that somebody might spend, that people in general might spend an average of 2 minutes on the page, but if you rearrange some of the sections and try something else at the top first, say, and then the next thing that seems to logically fit below and the next thing that fits below that, do you think maybe there are better rearrangements of the sections in such a way that people will spend more time on pages where the sections are arranged differently? Yeah, I mean, why not? You can have a whole bunch of pages on your site, and that's the next thing I want to point out, matter of fact. So, what do I want to say about this? I could be flipping my sections on and off, okay? And it's very, very important that I have that choice, okay? So, that is the first part. Here's the next part. Usually when you go to an inner page, you're done with this table of contents approach on the outside. The home page is basically really just your table of contents for your inner pages. Your home page is your prologue. It introduces everyone. Welcome to our site. We cover A, B, C, D, and E. You can click here for A, click here for B, click here for C, right? That's kind of it. You can watch the intro video to understand what your experience will be like on our site and what's available to you. You know, all that stuff, right? And then you got buttons like, hey, if you just want to cut to the quick, get a quote. Get a quote. You know, you want to check out our Instagram page or God knows what, go here, you know. But there you have it. So when you build that table of contents, you know, you care about what you show, but it's for the intersections. Now, what happens if somebody clicks on one of those intersections and they land like here, right? Well, I didn't do much with this page. Like I said, it's a testing page. You've seen most of our inner pages. We have things like sidebars, small images. We have medium-sized images. We have banner ads. You know, a lot's happening. We have mini sections, H1, H2, and H3 with paragraphs. This is just dumb compared to that, right? But what if I wanted to make my whole website a whole bunch of landing pages? The first thing I'm going to say before that, it's so much to say, I'm sorry. And I've had people ask, this is cool. Don't you want the same thing on all of your pages? And the answer is no. You know why? Somebody's going to go like this to one of the inner pages, and they're going to see this. And you know what they're going to think? Oh, it must be a broken page. Because nothing seemed to change. They're not going to scroll down. They're going to think, oh, it's a broken page. They'll try another one of the links. And if it acts the same way, well, oh my God, all these are broken pages. I guess this guy's not ready for business after all. He must still be working on his website. Do you get it? So you do not want the big banner to show up on the inner pages. You want people to have a different experience of some sort when they land on the inner page. But usually, by the time you get to a page, you're trying to focus on a particular point. But what if people are coming off the internet and landing on your pages, and you feel like your page with its images and its videos and its banners isn't really enough? It should offer more of what's on the website too. Even with all the sidebar stuff, you're like, man, I want to make more available on this page they landed on. Because they don't know what my homepage looks like, you know? And so this is all they see with all the stuff, but it's not as much as I would like them to see because they just landed here, right? Let me show you something, okay? This rabbit hole is going to go deep. I'm sorry if I feel like I'm taking forever. I just want to make sure that you guys can follow me because this is going to keep going a few more levels down and get crazy. This ride, if you understand what I'm saying, you're probably going to go for a walk in a daze by the end of this video. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to be boastful. I'm trying to make a point. Okay, check this out. Meet some of our locksmiths. It's like meet our expert locksmith team, your key to security. That's what's called. So meet our expert locksmith team, your key to security. I'm going to edit this page. Okay. And do I want to show the sidebar? Yes or no? You know, that's something I could say yes to. But take a look. There's something here called dynamic sections. Yes, it exists on every page. And yes, it can be different for every page. Let's hit yes. Boom. You know what this is? The content. What's the content? This area right here. Okay, this. That's the content. Starts right here. Maybe it includes a sidebar on the side. That's part of the content, but it's the sidebar. And it ends here with these final previous and next page links. That's the content. And even the links themselves are not actually the content, okay? So it would be, I don't know whether it's hanging there, but this would be the content, okay? It's even got a table of contents in the middle of the content. Except, like I said, it's a dummy site, so there's not a lot here. What if I flip on sections? And what if I turn off the content? What could we see? I'll show you. Okay, I'm going to update this right now and go back and refresh. Okay, I'm just waiting for the page, right? Okay, now let me show you something. This scroll bar got small. I don't know if you saw it, but check it out. I can come down and I've got sections. The sections, like on my main page, can be applied on the inner pages. But there's a few more caveats to it than even that, okay? What if on this particular page, I want to try something else. So I want the content to be first. I want this About Us section to be first. Well, not even that. Let's start with this. What if I don't even want the content to be on a page, okay? Let's check it out. I've got so many things to show, I keep losing track. Let's just turn the content off and see how that affects the page, okay? Just waiting. Boom. Look at that. The content's gone. It starts just like that. I could click here. It comes down. I could click any one of these. It comes down. I could click that. It comes down. I could click any one of these. Any one of these. Any one of these, right? Or that. Or it could be that I'm reading these. Isn't that neat? We auto-generated the testimonials. It comes down, and of course I ought to clean these up, but then they make sense, you know. And of course these don't make sense for locksmiths, but hey, normally they would, right? We'd use the right imagery. Now, having said that, this gets even cooler, okay? What if I want to try another page, and you know what I want to do with the other page? I want to try to move this to the top. In other words, I want to change the order of events, okay? What is that section? About us, then blog, client logo, and CTA. I think it's a CTA, right? Let me move the CTA up here. Ooh, I just changed the section order, didn't I? Totally made the section 5 into a section 2. You know what that also means in terms of tracking traffic? If before people were to leave on section 5, then you'd assume that they would now leave on section 2. Why didn't that take? It must be something I either forgot or I went to the wrong page to do it or what? Let me see. Content, CTA. Oh, CTA must not. Oh, yeah, no, there it is. It's right there. I'm sorry. It fit in so perfectly, I missed it. I thought I had that other piece attached to it here, but I didn't. All right, so check it out. There it is. That's the first thing, right? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? That we could make our split tests across the pages? I could even put the content right back in here, right underneath the About Us or above the About Us or whatever. I could just decide I want to move it here. I want to flip it on. I want to create a natural distance, or, you know, connection or separator between those two quick links, right? It's updating, boom, you know? There we go. I've got this. Then immediately I'm talking about what I got. And then immediately after that, boom, we're on to here, right? And I can flip on or off, I'm sure you noticed, any of the sections. And everything works around it, right? What about more sections? What if I have an image gallery? What if I have a video? What if I have blogs? What if I have a newsletter? What if I have pricing options? Okay, I'm just going to update it. And don't expect all that stuff to look beautiful again, because it's just a dummy setup, right? It's not like we set up for business. We set up to check out all the functionality, right? Take a look. I'll show you more stuff on this page than you would have guessed, you know, or would have thought was available, right? We got images, except that we only have one here, right? We could put a bunch and decide how many per row and how many rows. We've got a video right here. You can actually play it right here, right now, okay? You could maximize it and then close it and stop it, okay? And it just says whatever we want it to say. Then you've got what? Blogs, man. Cheap vacation destinations. Don't ask me why. Pollution and environment, lorem ipsum, just blog stuff. You know, like if we were setting up blogs, these would be blogs. Latest update. We can decide how many per row, how many columns, and then a page 2, page 3, page 4 automatic pagination, right? We got to subscribe to our newsletter. We've got several options for newsletters. There's like Salesforce, MailChimp, Active Campaign, Get Response. There's more. Then we've got payment options. Okay, it's not connected up, so I don't see any buttons for payment. So we just threw in a title and a number right now to make the point. Okay, and so we should have that here. But what is it? It allows you to set up one-time payments or subscription payments through PayPal or Stripe, or both, and allow people to choose PayPal or Stripe to set up their one-time payment or subscription payments, right? And then we got our footer, pre-footer, footer, whatever, right? Do you guys see that we can create arrangements if we want in manually, page by page? We can literally go down every single page and set the order differently for all this stuff. We could flip it all on, and we could say, on the one page, I want to see what happens if I get the pricing a little higher up, like above all this stuff about image gallery. What happens if I get the blogs just below the testimonial. Go from testimonial into the blog. So I increase readership on my blogs, or should I put them even higher, right? There's just different things you could do. What if I want to move this up here, etc., and that down there, and I'm going to save it. Did you notice that we can do this differently on every single page, and we can flip things on or off on every single page differently than every other page? This page, I might kill the content because it's the easiest thing to notice is off. I might kill the blogs. Maybe I don't want to distract people from the blogs on this page, or distract them with the blogs on this page. Okay? We've got two different kinds of blog entries on the page. You'll find out later. Okay? Isn't that neat? There's a schema coding that we auto added to every page of every site remotely. And so, what is that? Is that this? No, it's not. I'd have to look up the page, which isn't too hard. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I'll just do this. Okay. And so that way we can see what we got. All right. No content. Blogs are gone, right? Isn't that exactly what I wanted, right? And that's totally different than the other page, right? Where it has this here, that there. Do you realize that? So if these pages are available for indexing on Google, Bing, Yahoo, etc., and people see the different pages based on their keyword search, they're going to see, not all of them are going to see your home page. Of course, they're going to see which page from your website matches their search best, right? So wouldn't it be neat to make 100 pages, then cascade through lots of changes on the pages? And, and even if you were to do that carefully, like page by page, you consider the order of events and you consider what should be on or off. Okay? And then you think, wow, so split testing is real. In this case, we can split test. We're going to go way past that soon. The other thing is that you could make every page on your website a landing page. You could assign each URL to a different affiliate in your downline if you wanted. You could let them tell you what they think is the right order of events for their page and what to flip on and what to flip off. I mean, you wouldn't usually, but you could. So if you made every page a landing page, then when you're doing a Google ad campaign or a Facebook campaign, you're going to upload a CSV file that matches the ad text with the landing page, the destination URL. You can match the right keywords to the right landing page that can each be a different matching page for the keyword on your website with whatever you think the best order of events should be. And if you're running that out and you're running that test pretty broadly, you are split testing, and you're split testing quite well. You can get very quick answers as to whether the shorter pages are getting more clicks, whether the longer pages are getting more love, just hangout time, whether clicks happen from up high or clicks happen from down low, whether people are watching the video or not. What if the video's kind of lower than people normally see when they leave? You're getting all this stuff figured out in a hurry, right? Partially because of tracking you have, and partially because we have a tremendous amount of tracking built into the system, as I was alluding to before. I know we haven't gotten to it yet, because in order to get to this and understand it properly, you had to first understand what we can do with every page. Because that affects, by a long shot, all of this. Does that make sense? Crazy, huh? So we have lots of opportunities here, and this is all manual but easy. You could go through a stack of pages, make a stack of changes, just see how it affects people, right? And you can get better answers that way really, really fast. So all you do is care about those sections. Make sure each section does a great job of whatever it's supposed to be for. Remember, your sections usually are from the index page of your site. It's the same sections for all the pages, right? But that's your prologue to your book. Chapter 1 is part A. You can click here to go there. Or if you want to skip to chapter 2, click here to go to the B, section A, B, C, D, E of our website, right? Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our website. Okay? So if you're starting to understand the power of that, Remember this last thing I'm going to say before we move on to the next recording for the next section, because we're going to go deeper down the rabbit hole, okay? And I want to end this part with this point. What Google wants to see for organic results is the same as what they want to see for ads. If you're one of the guys paying for the ads at the top, say there are 5 guys and you're the bottom guy paying the least out of the 5. If you can figure out how to get people to spend more time on your pages rather than when they're landing on other people are landing on other pages, Google's going to say Bob went here, Ann went there, Jeff went there, Todd went there, and Mark went here. And then it's going to say who of those people spent the most time on the page and or clicked the most things, engaged with the page. This is part of the whole point. Because for Google, those are the biggest things to bother measuring, okay? If all your page said was the word hi, but hi, H-I, and that was it, that's all it said, and somehow when people look up best greeting in English and they click your link, because it'll be at the top for whatever, it'll rise there, and they just stare at the word hi for like 8 straight minutes, it just basks them in a glow of human warmth, and they love it. Guess what? If they're spending more time on that page than any other page, your page will rank higher than everyone else, even though all it says is the word hi. Okay? If that match started to work somehow, then there you would go. Now, it doesn't really happen, but it could. Okay, that's the theory, because Google really prizes that. So in terms of ads, what does that mean? Guy at the top pays the most, then he pays less, right? He, she. And you're paying the least, right? What if people are spending more time on your pages, maybe after a little optimization to really tweak them in? Get rid of the offending parts and focus on the parts that matter. Then Google notices that this is working better than him, maybe better than him. And Google will want to raise you up, even if you're paying less than that guy. You can pay less than that guy, but be here or here, depending on if you can beat all of them in terms of those 2 factors. One of those 2 factors. Okay? Why one? Well, you could say spend more time on the page means make the page longer. 2,000 words. I'll make my page 3. Oh, I'll make my page 4. I'll make my page 5. Skyscraper, right? People sometimes get so far down, they just get lost. They kind of like scroll through it and go, what the heck is this? I don't even know where to start. Either they click something or they leave, right? So it's not just about who's got the longest page to read, right? And can hold the attention the most. It's either they're reading more, or they're clicking to your next point, this point, that point, going over to this section of your site, which reminds them, oh, that's what he meant over in that section of the site. And they click through there. And so they're clicking and hanging out for a little while, then click something else, hang out for a while, watch the video, click something else, check out your prices, click something else, maybe join your newsletter, click something else, watch the other video, right? That right there is what Google loves the most, all right? Clicking anything, interlinks and stuff, right? Clicking sidebar links, click anything. All right, I think you get the point so far, right? We're talking about how to get people to hang out the most. If you write the best with GPT-4 Turbo and you're using really good imagery, you've got some interesting videos, you're using a lot of SEO touch points on the pages, that's all the stuff we like to do, right down to schema, auto-generated on every page. But even with ads, you can force profitable ads by doing enough split testing to see where you can outcompete your competitors, right? All right, I said that much. Now, let's go on to the next topic after you take a break and kind of like make sure you're clear on that, because the next topic, like I said, we're going to go further down the rabbit hole, and I think it's really awesome. All right, we'll talk about it in the next video. Okay.